This is The Pirates, Chapter 2. Chapter 2. Walter Riley gazed up at the stars in the heavens. He had been marooned on the planet Epsilon for 3 weeks, and was hungry for revenge and food. His green uniform was torn and dishevelled, and soiled in orange mud, and he badly needed a bath and a shave. Ensign Maynard was dead. He had decided to take an early morning swim in the river to freshen up. Unfortunately, he was unaware that the river was filled with sulphuric acid, rather than water. He was not a man to paddle in the shallows, and had dived in at the deep end. A fatal mistake. Ensign Johnson sat on a yellow rock, chewing his fingernails. "I'm fucking starving! Haven't we got any rations left at all?" he asked. Lieutenant Stevenson cracked his knuckles. "You've been asking that same question for the past week. And the answer is still no." "It's just as well Maynard snuffed it, or we'd have starved to death by now," sighed Johnson. "I hope someone has received our distress signal. It's just a matter of time before we are rescued," replied the middle-aged lieutenant. "But how much time do we have left?" asked Johnson. Captain Riley sat on the grey sand and stroked his unkempt beard. "When I catch up with that pirate, I'm going to tear out his guts and wear them for garters. I'll pickle his bollocks and eat the coward's heart." "Do you have to talk about food?" sighed Johnson. Lieutenant Stevenson stood up. "Captain, may I have permission to go hunting?" The grey-haired man laughed. "Again? The only thing that you are liable to catch is amnesia. Have you seen the size of those scythe spiders out there? There must be something edible on this shitty little planet. Have you seen any other wildlife?" Captain Riley raised his eyebrows at the lieutenant. "Maybe there is some fruit or plant that we can eat," suggested Stevenson. "The water is sulphuric acid, Lieutenant. I haven't even seen any vegetation." Captain Riley gazed at the barren landscape around them. Nothing but a luminous green river, volcanic rocks, grey dust, and an enormous yellow mountain. The 3 men sat outside the shuttle. At the mouth of a small cave, blasted into the face of the cliff with a vat gun. "Remember what happened to your face when you went out in the rain?" asked the grey-haired captain. Stevenson scratched the putty yellow burn sores on his forehead with his left hand. Luckily it was only drizzling." Ensign Johnson stood up. "I don't feel so good." "Maybe you should lie down," suggested Riley. "I need to eat, sir. If I fall asleep now, then I don't think I'll wake up again." Johnson's shirt was torn to rags and undone, and his ribs were clearly visible through his pale skin. "What do you suggest we do?" asked Stevenson. Eat each other?" The lieutenant was bare-chested, his stomach was swollen, and he looked visibly malnourished. Captain Riley stood up and smiled at his 2 crewmates. "That's not such a bad idea." Lieutenant Stevenson gazed up at his captain. "And how will we decide who to eat?" Ensign Johnson raised his hand. "Maybe we should draw straws." Walter Riley drew his vat gun and pointed it towards the young ensign. "I've got a better idea." He pulled the trigger, and Johnson's head exploded. "Well, that's the food problem solved," grinned Stevenson. "Beep, beep, beep!" A light flashed on the communications console inside the shuttle. The doors of the small grey vessel rose with a churning sound, and the 2 survivors entered the ship. Lieutenant Stevenson pressed a button on the console. "I'm picking up a signal. It's from an association vessel, the Swallow. They will rendezvous with us in 1 hour." Captain Riley rested a hand on Stevenson's shoulder. You'd better throw the body into the river. We don't want anyone to find the evidence now, do we? If anybody asks, he went swimming with Maynard. Is that understood?" The lieutenant stood up. "I never liked him anyway. He'd talked too much." Chapter 3. Felicia is a small purple planet on the outer edge of the Milky Way, just a few million light years north of Pluto. It is the homeworld of the Felitians, a small furry cat-like species who specialise in the development and supply of highly sophisticated, technically advanced weaponry. Over the centuries it has become a safe haven and marketplace for both the villains and the rulers of the universe. It is a well-known fact that the Felitians have weaponry that is far in advance of that which they sell to their customers, and any act of warfare or violence on the planet would be met with deadly force. It was 2 months later, and the Quadag mercenary had undergone extensive repairs. Morgan had made several improvements to the ship's engines. The damaged thermoreaction chamber had been replaced, and the plate shielding reinforced with titanium alloy. Gunner Lowe had made several upgrades to the ship's weaponry, such as the introduction of a sonic cannon and a Felitian X-211 laser. It also purchased several hand weapons, including stun spears and zap machine guns. William Bonnet had adopted the name of Captain Bones on account of his thin physique. He spent much of his time in various drinking establishments in and around the capital city, Catania, in search of supplies and a crew. So far, he had not had much success, far from recruiting a navigations officer in one of the nearby harbour towns. It was the third night of Prague, a Felitian festival to mark the end of the financial year. The Felitians celebrated with a dazzling display of fireworks above the capital city. Neon red, sparkling yellow, orange, blue and fluorescent green lasers flashed across the purple sky, illuminating the horizon in an explosion of dazzling rainbows. The Felitians danced in the crowded streets for 3 days and nights, handing bags of coins and bowls of food to beggars, and sweets and toys to children. Calico Jack Rackman sat at his usual table in the darkest corner of the old Mog, drinking a mug of crack juice, his 7th this evening. He wore a multicoloured, loosely fitting velvet suit of purple, green and gold, and a black eye patch over his left eye. "Crack juice!" shouted the one-eyed trader. His scarred face glowed red like a sunburnt lobster. Jack patted his fat belly and raised his right hand. "Crack juice!" he yelled, slamming his golden tankard on the plastine table. It was several minutes before he became aware of the stranger sitting beside him. "What do you want?" he asked in a slurred whisper. The stranger held out a bony blue hand. "Captain Bones of the Quadag mercenary." Calico Jack squinted at the blue man and scratched his head. "That's Captain Lowe's ship, isn't it?" asked the one-eyed trader. "Is that what he told you? I've already had dealings with your captain." "He is not my captain, he is my gunner. I believe he purchased a sonic cannon from you," asked Billy Bones. Calico Jack nodded. "I am still waiting for my payment." "That is why I am here." "I'm listening." The rosy-cheeked human leant closer to the strange blue-skinned man sitting at his side. "How would you like to join my crew?" asked Captain Bones. "Your reputation as a trader is well known in this quadrant, and I need a quartermaster." The white human raised his eyebrows. "I've heard of you too. You're the man in the moon. I read about you when I was back on Earth." Calico Jack stroked his bushy grey moustache. "What are you offering for my services?" he asked. "An equal share in all profits, and as much crack juice as you can drink," suggested the blue-skinned man. "Can I bring the wife?" "The Quadag mercenary is a pirate ship, Mr. Ackman, not a cruise liner," replied Captain Bones. The one-eyed trader lifted up his eye patch. "She has a wicked tongue." "What happened?" asked the blue-skinned man. "Ebony is a Medusan, a snake woman. She spat in my eye on the day we met. It wasn't what you might call love at first sight, at least not on her part. Her venom is quite toxic. It burnt out my eye in seconds." "Thought that no one could look at a Medusan without going insane," replied Billy Bones. Calico Jack shrugged his shoulders. "That might be true. Look at me." The one-eyed trader chuckled. "Actually, she hasn't shed her skin yet. She is only at stage 2 of her metamorphosis." Captain Bones scratched his bearded chin and smiled. "Well, to be honest with you, Mr. Ackman, I need all the crewmen that I can find." A thin, beautiful, pale green-skinned Pornashian with short, bleached blonde hair and full pink lips tapped the blue-skinned man on the shoulder. "Excuse me," he asked politely. Billy Bones turned his head towards the young green man. "What can I do for you?" "Are you Calico Jack Rackman?" asked the slim, handsome boy. The blue-skinned man pointed a long, bony finger towards the one-eyed man sitting opposite him. The green-skinned youth sat down next to the rosy-cheeked human. He handed a small black plastic cartridge to Jack. "As ordered. I hope you enjoy it." Calico Jack put the cartridge into his jacket pocket. "I look forward to watching it," he smiled. The blonde-haired youth turned to face the blue-skinned man. "I couldn't help overhearing your conversation." The blue-skinned man held out his right hand. "Captain Bones of the Quadag Mercenary." The green-skinned Pornashian shook the captain's hand. "Cornelius, of the Blackheart clan. My friends call me Corn." "Well, Mr. Blackheart, what is your speciality?" "Sex," answered the young Pornashian. Billy Bones smiled. "Welcome aboard." The green-skinned youth grinned a mischievous grin. "Actually, I wasn't going to ask if I could join your crew. I was wondering if you would be able to give me a lift." Captain Bones frowned. "As I said to Mr. Rackman here, the Quadag Mercenary is a pirate ship, not a cruise liner. We don't carry passengers." The Pornashian leant towards the blue-skinned man and clutched the captain's groin with his right hand. "I'll make it worth your while," he whispered. Billy Bones laughed. "Are you sure that you don't want to join my crew?" Corn frowned. "Oh, I'd love to, but I have a few jobs to do first. I make holographic skin flicks." "Alien pornography," whispered Calico Jack Rackman. "Where are you heading?" asked the green-skinned youth. "To hell, probably," chuckled Calico Jack. Captain Bones scratched his bearded chin. "Where do you want to go?" Corn frowned. "Manova." A young grey-furred Felitian woman approached the table, carrying a jug of crack juice. "Sorry for the delay." She poured the bubbling red liquid into Calico Jack's tankard. The one-eyed trader reached into his shoulder bag and took out a small golden disc. He handed it to Captain Bones. "It is an intergalaxian homing beacon. Just enter the ship's communication frequency and he'll be able to find us anywhere." Billy Bones tapped several numbers on the face of the golden disc and handed it to Corn. "Try not to lose it." The Pornashian youth stood up. "Come with me," he suggested, putting the disc into the back pocket of his baggy blue denim dungarees. "I'll wait here," suggested the one-eyed trader, stroking the cat-like barmaid under the chin. The Felitian woman purred contentedly. Captain Bones stood up and floated the young green man out of the tavern. "Where are we going?" he asked. Cornelius Blackheart led the blue-skinned man down a narrow alleyway, eventually arriving at a dead end. He turned around and leant against the wall. "Nowhere," he smiled. "I just thought you might like a blowjob." He leant towards the blue man and they embraced. The youth put his left hand behind Billy's neck and kissed him passionately on the lips, their tongues dancing like two Atlantean dolphins in the spawning season. Corn loosened his shoulder straps of his dungarees and let them slip to his waist. He was a skinny young man, and the sweat on his well-muscled, green-skinned chest sparkled under the white glare of a nearby street lamp. He knelt down and unbuckled the blue man's belt, and unbuttoned the fly of the captain's black rubber-skin jeans. The bleached blonde Pornashian tugged the blue man's trousers down to his ankles and kissed the growing bulge beneath the pirate's white silk briefs. Corn grabbed the waistband of the captain's underpants and pulled them down to his knees, kissing and caressing the blue man's erection. He opened his mouth, and his rosy pink lips engulfed the head of Billy's stiff, circumcised cock. The blue man shuddered in ecstasy. "That feels great," whispered the blue man, running his fingers through the Pornashian's bleached blonde hair. Corn sucked hard on Billy's throbbing penis, rocking his head to and fro with the moon boy's thrusts. Suddenly there was a loud explosion, and a kaleidoscope of multicoloured fireworks flashed across the purple sky. The blue-skinned man pushed his cock deep into Corn's mouth, ejaculating a fountain of steaming white spunk down the Pornashian's throat. corn swallowed.